I'm not gonna waste your time with a long-ass intro. You know what Mario 64 is, and you read the title of this video, so I know what you want. You want to see every level in Super Mario 64 ranked. So, without further ado... Okay, before we get into the main levels, I'm going to quickly go through all of the mini levels and rank them. Don't worry, I won't waste too much time on these. Number 9, the Secret Aquarium. It's literally just a box full of water with some red coins scattered about. It feels like a test map for swimming, I don't even know what I'm supposed to say. Number 8, Tower of the Wing Cap. You have two options for this level. Just hit the switch, which takes all of 2 seconds, or do one of the single most infuriating missions in the whole game. For some reason, getting these red coins is infuriating, and for being your first exposure to the wing cap in the game, it's way too hard. Number 7, Wing Mario Over the Rainbow. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like either of the mini levels dedicated to the wing cap. I much prefer how it's used in the main levels, where it's used for traversal rather than being required for it. That said, this level is much better than Tower of the Wing Cap solely because the atmosphere is great and there are cannons in this level, which make flying easier. Number 6, Cavern of the Metal Cap. This level is the one I have the least to say about. It kinda just does what it needs to do to introduce the metal cap and nothing more. Number 5, Vanish Cap Under the Moat. I feel like these cap levels are majorly held back by their length, and out of all of them, the Vanish Cap stage exemplifies that the best. Some of the platforming is good, and the slope is cool, but this level is just too short. Number 4, Bowser in the Dark World. This is the first Bowser level, and despite being the worst one, I still like it. These levels are much more linear, and I like that. The platforming is fun, but I'm not a huge fan of the placement of the red coins, so that's what makes it the worst Bowser level. These levels are also helped by having Bowser fights at the end. Unfortunately, this one is the easiest and only really has one attack. I like the way you hit him, but aside from that, this fight is barely harder than the fights you've dealt with thus far. Number 3, Bowser in the Fire Sea. The second Bowser level is better than Dark World in terms of both platforming and red coin placement, but it also has a better Bowser fight, giving him the ability to teleport, and a jump attack that makes the platform tilt. Throw him into a bomb and the fight is over. Number 2, Peach's Secret Slide. This is easily the most iconic bonus level in the game, and while it's incredibly easy, it's really fun. The regular slide is fun, trying to beat it in under 21 seconds is fun, and there's even a shortcut you can take if you're good enough. It's probably the worst slide in the game since Cool Cool Mountain and Tall Tall Mountain have better slides, but it's still a really fun bonus level. That said, I do like some challenge in my games, and this level does not provide that. Number 1, Bowser in the Sky. Bowser in the Sky is a nice climactic final level for Super Mario 64, having good platforming, good enemy placement, and the best Bowser fight in the game at the end. He takes 3 hits instead of 1, and he spews fire all over the stage, and he even makes the stage crumble on his third phase. Overall, it's a great level. The only reason it's not S tier is because the red coin placement is questionable, to say the least, but aside from that, great level. Now on to the actual levels. Rainbow Ride is one of the single most boring levels in any Mario game. You spend most of it just sitting on carpets and occasionally avoiding obstacles. After the first carpet ride, you can go down one of 3 paths. One of them leads to the red coins and the blue coin switch, one of them leads to an obstacle course for 2 stars, and one of them leads to yet another carpet ride, which is even longer and more tedious for the other 3 other stars. You have to do this boring as hell carpet ride 3 times in order to get the star. Actually, no, I lied, you need to do it 4 times since you also need to get the 100 coin star. Speaking of the 100 coin star, it's the worst 100 coin star in the game, and just the worst star in the game in general as well, since the blue coin switch requires you to do a bunch of precise wall jumps. Otherwise, you need to start over. It's insane. There's also the 2 main set pieces of this level, that being the airship and the big house, and neither of them have anything worth a damn aside from a single star each. The red coin maze is fine, I guess, but it's still nothing special. The only thing I like about this level is the path with the obstacle course. The platforming is actually pretty fun, and both stars are enjoyable. That said, this level is still boring as hell, and easily the worst level in the game. So, one aspect that Mario 64, as well as Mario games in general, flops is its water levels. C tier consists of all three water levels in this game, and of the three, I think Dire Dire Docks is the worst, solely because it has the least gameplay that takes you out of the water. This level consists of two sections. One is entirely underwater, and the other is just mostly underwater. The stars in this level consist of getting on Bowser's submarine, swimming through rings not once but twice, interacting with chests in a specific order, growing going across slow-moving platforms to get red coins, and using both the metal cap and vanish cap in tandem. I feel like one of the main problems with this level is it covers a lot of the same ground that Jolly Roger Bay covers, having one set piece in the form of an aquatic vehicle, a star where you open chests in a specific order, and a star where you need to use the metal cap to fight against a current. It all makes the level feel very pointless in the grand scheme of things, especially considering where this level is placed. Out of all the levels, this one is the one that could most easily be removed and nothing would really be lost. It's not necessarily a bad level, but I don't think anyone would be particularly mad if it was just removed from the game. The second water level on this list is the first one in the game, that being Jolly Roger Bay. I don't have a lot to say about this level that I didn't say about Dire Dire Docks. The only reason I have it above Dire Dire Docks is for two reasons. One, the atmosphere is better. Two, there's a bit more on-land gameplay, which makes it better automatically. But aside from that, Unagi is iconic. Shooting yourself out of a cannon to grab a pole is cool. I'm already running out of things to say. The music is good, I guess. Yeah, here's the thing. I feel like with how slow the swimming is in this game, they wanted to make a level that revolved more around atmosphere, and I'm fine with that, but atmosphere isn't going to carry a level. You still need good level design, and in this level, the level design isn't even the problem. It's just the speed at which you move being so slow that drags this level all the way down to being one of the worst in the game. It's not a bad level, but it's a water level, and if you're a Mario water level that isn't in either Odyssey or Wonder, you're most likely not gonna be very good. I'd also like to say that while Unagi is a really iconic enemy, both stars he's involved with are really annoying because of him. He's also the only enemy in this whole level aside from a few Goombas in the cave. Yeah, this is something that Mario 64 is kinda known for: loneliness. A lot of levels can feel very lonely due to the lack of enemies, and I think that's a bad thing. Every level should feel alive, and this one really does not. Some may say that adds to the atmosphere, but I say it adds to how much of a nothing burger this level is. Moving on. Speaking of nothing burgers, Wet Dry World is another level that has a lot of somewhat neat things atmosphere-wise, but in the gameplay department, it just kinda exists. I think the gimmick is pretty alright, but the gameplay itself is just meh. You mostly just use the water to reach certain platforms, which you can do without the water most of the time. I also think this is one of the most forgettable levels in the game, which is so weird because it has so much that's unique to it. It has these aero platforms, skaters, a cool town area, and the unique gimmick, What Gives. Honestly, I think most of the stars range from forgettable to tedious. The forgettable stars are the elevator star, the aero platform star, the top of the town star. Meanwhile, the tedious stars include all the stars that require you to go into the town, as well as the secret star. This level also looks incredibly bland, with the exception of the town area. Overall, I feel like people who say this level has a negative emotional aura just don't know how to say that they don't like the level. And while I can't confidently say I dislike the level, I'm not a huge fan. Hazy Maze Cave is a level I really don't know the public consensus on. Do people love it, or do people hate it? Well, whatever the case may be, I'm mixed on it. It's a cave level, the only one in this game. This level has you navigating through it and finding stars in random rooms, such as an open room with platforms, a room with pits and enemies jumping out of them, the titular Hazy Maze, a room with a hole in the middle and rocks rolling down a slope, and a room filled with water, as well as a sea monster named Dory who you can ride. The stars include using the metal cap to hit a switch, riding on Dory to get onto a platform, riding a platform you can control to get red coins, going through the titular hazy maze not once but twice, and while jumping up a wall right past the boulder rolling section. It's a good variety of sections. Unfortunately, the main reason it misses out on the top 10 is because of the maze aspect. I think it's a good level and it's pretty memorable as well, but it's just not quite worthy of the top 10. A lot of people really do not like shifting Sandland, but I think it's actually pretty good. Yes, there's a lot of things about this level I do not like the quicksand both inside and outside of the pyramid, Klepto, the red coins, the 4 pillars, the tornado, and the 5 secret coins in the pyramid. But for everything this level does wrong, it does something right, like the part with the tox boxes, the shiny shell, the pokies, the weird mummy thwomps in the pyramid, the platforming in the pyramid, and the boss, iRock. It has a weird mix of good and bad elements. On one hand, the quicksand makes me want to die, but on the other hand, some of the platforming is actually really fun. And while Klepto is really annoying after you take a star from him, trying to take the star from him is pretty neat. I think my favorite part of the level is definitely the part with the tox boxes, since they're a really neat enemy type, and they move in interesting patterns. While a lot of people hate this level, I just think it's very mixed, but overall, I think it leans slightly toward the side of good. Have you ever noticed how many levels in this game center around going into and or climbing one big structure in the middle? Seriously, Bob-omb Battlefield, Womp's Fortress, Cool Mountain, Big Boo's Haunt, Shifting Sandland, Snowman's Land, Tall Mountain, and Tiny Huge Island all do this. Anyways, Big Boo's Haunt is a pretty good level. A lot of people would put it higher, but I personally wouldn't. Listen, I like this level and I think the rooms are cool, but most of the stars in this level just consist of killing boos. The Big Boo is one of the worst bosses in this game, so having to fight him 3 times gets old fast. You also need to fight the big Mr. I, and all you need to do is run around him a few times. The only other star that isn't the red coins or 100 coin star is the library star, where you just need to hit all 3 books in a specific order, but you don't even need to do this since you can just do an easy jump to skip it. That said, just walking around and exploring this level is really fun, and I enjoy it a lot. The rooms are varied, the enemy placement is good, and the layout is just great overall. It's a good level, but the lack of variety when it comes to the stars keeps it out of A tier. Speaking of which, on to A tier. Yeah, that's right, over half the levels in this game are A tier or higher. Impressive. While not the best snow level in this game, Cool Mountain is a solid level. Most of it revolves around slipping and sliding, and that's almost always fun. Almost. Regardless, the highlight of this level is obviously the slide, especially when doing the penguin race, because the penguin is actually pretty fast. Speaking of penguins, delivering the baby penguin to its mama is fun as well, since there's several ways to do it. Fun fact, the penguin's name is Tuxie. Also, while messing it up does require you to restart the level, guiding the snowball to the snowman head is really cute. I also think getting the 100 coin star in this level is really fun. That said, that's about where the fun stops. Whenever you're not sliding, this level becomes a bit of a pain. First of all, the red coins are in really annoying spots. I know that can apply to a lot of levels, but this level in particular has some spots that just make you say, why? That said, that's not this level's biggest problem. The biggest problem with this level is the 6th star. Wall kicks will work. In order to get this star, you need to go on this incredibly slow ski lift, ride it until you can jump on a tiny platform, talk to the pink Bob-omb, go down to where the mama penguin is and enter the cannon, shoot at this tree, walk across this known ledge with spin drifts, then do a bunch of wall jumping, which, as I said in the Rainbow Ride segment, is not easy. Not only that, but the second wall jump you have to do requires you to do a well-timed triple jump, and on top of that, you then need to get across this thin ice bridge to get the star. And you want to know the best part? Most of this is unnecessary. If you go to a specific ledge above where the section is, you can just jump off it and hold back to get it, skipping talking to the Bob-omb, shooting out of the cannon, and walking across the ledge. Well then what was the point of all that? I'm sorry half of this entry has just been me complaining about this 1 star, but I seriously cannot stress enough how annoying this process is, as well as the fact that you can just skip it. That said, I cannot stress enough, the rest of this level is great. It's just this 1 star and a few red coins that hold this level back. Oh, also you can throw the penguin off the edge. Never mind, best level ever, 11 out of 10. Speaking of mountains, Tall Mountain is actually really similar to Cool Mountain in a lot of respects. It has a secret slide, it has an animal NPC you have to pick up to get a star, and another one that's completely useless. It doesn't have a power-up cap, and it's a mountain with the same word used twice in its name. That said, I've always preferred climbing up a mountain as opposed to sliding down it. I also think everything Cool Mountain does, Tall Mountain does better. The slide level is a bit harder, and even has a dead end. Grabbing the monkey, who, fun fact, his name is Yukiki, is fun, and only mildly infuriating. The red coins are much more fun to hunt down, since they're only kept in 2 areas, one of them being this area with mushroom platforms, and the other being this area with Moni moles. I also think just climbing the mountain is fun. That said, much like Cool Mountain, this level has 1 star that holds it back. Blast to the Lonely Mushroom. In order to get this star, you need to find the pink bob-omb in the most random spot imaginable, go on this random mushroom to teleport, walk across this ledge, and, as the title of the star says, blast to the Lonely Mushroom. I have so many questions. The only reason this isn't worse than wall kicks will work is because you can cheese it by bouncing off this fly guy. But aside from that 1 star, this is a solid level, and I personally prefer it over Cool Mountain. Tiny Huge Island is a very neat concept for a level. You can enter one of 2 paintings that lead to this level to enter either the small island or the big island. There's also pipes littered about this level that allow you to switch which island you're on. They actually did something similar to this in Super Mario Bros. 3, where you could switch between dealing with normal enemies and bigger enemies, but back to Mario 64, being able to switch between the small islands and big islands via pipes is absolutely amazing, since you can get around the tiny island really easy, go into one of the pipes, and end up wherever you want on the big island, so long as there's a pipe there. This level also has some enemies unique to it, like Lakitu, Wiggler, and the Boss Bass. Boss Bass will try to eat you, which kills you instantly, so he's scary. This level also has my 3rd favorite 100 coin star in the game, right behind the 2 levels we haven't talked about yet. I also like how the level only requires you to be on the tiny island for 2 stars. Well, technically 3, but one of them is only so that you can travel to a specific spot on the big island. One of them requires you to find 5 secrets, and I'm gonna be honest, this is probably the worst star in the level. It's not bad, but it can be a nuisance. The other requires you to ground pound the top of the mountain to flood the inside, go to the big island, head to into the mountain through the top, and fight Wiggler. The Wiggler fight is honestly not worth talking about. Now for the stars that don't require the use of the small island. One is you killing a bunch of big fire piranha plants, one of them has you collecting red coins below Wiggler's arena, one of them has you racing Koopa the Quick, who's actually a decent bit harder than in Bob-omb Battlefield, not that that's saying much considering that race was easy, and one of them has you simply getting to the top of the big island. If you're going for this one, I would definitely recommend sticking to the big island to get the full experience. Overall, this is a great level that provides a legitimate challenge to boot, as well as having some fun enemies, fun stars, and a fun gimmick. The only reason it's not higher is because of the secret star. It's pretty annoying, but aside from that, great level. Tick-tock clock. Oh lord. This is a level I have a love-hate relationship with. On one hand, it's an absolute nightmare. On the other hand, it's on the top floor. Of course it's a nightmare. The theme of this level is the most unique in the whole game. I mean, it takes place in a clock. How can you say no to that? The level also has some of the best platforming in the whole game, with all the obstacles not only being fun to dodge, but fitting the theme of the level miraculously. And this level is a legitimate challenge to boot, being the hardest level in the whole game. So why is this level not an S tier? Well, as much as I love climbing this level, that's pretty much all you do. All of the stars only require slight detours to get, and since you get booted out of the level after collecting a star, that means you need to climb all the way back up to where you were to get the next star. If you're playing this game through Super Mario 64 Plus, which I highly recommend since it's where I've been getting footage from, then I would recommend turning on the setting that makes you stay in the level when you get a star because of this level. That said, in every other way, this level is fantastic. The platforming is amazing, the 100 coin star is my second favorite in the game, and the theming is the best in the game. Now, it's time to move up into S tier. Honestly, at first glance, Lethal Lava Land doesn't look like much. It just looks like a generic lava stage with some platforms just thrown about. And yet, that generic lava stage with some platforms just thrown about is one of the best courses in the entire game. The bullies are really neat ideas for enemies where jumping on them doesn't kill them, it just knocks them back. So you need to keep knocking them back until they fall in the lava. That's genius. You can also fight a bigger version not once, but twice. You can even go into the volcano to do either an elevator ride or a platforming challenge. That said, the easy best part of this level is the shell. Being able to use the shell to ride the lava and essentially have free reign of the course is genius. The only reason this course isn't number 1 is because the red coin star is way too easy, and having to fight the big bully twice is a bit iffy. That said, a fantastic level, and a real standout among other boring and generic lava stages. So in this top 4, I have 3 of the most beloved courses in the game, and then I have Snowman's Land. A lot of you are probably thoroughly confused, because this stage really doesn't stick out that much at first. But when you play it, everything just kinda clicks. From the frozen maze being a really cool idea, to climbing the snowman being really fun, to this level having one of my favorite 100 coin stars, to using the shiny shell to grab the red coins being the element that Lethal Lava Land was missing, to being able to dive into the chill bully to kill him instantly, to this level having some neat speedrun tech, to using the spin drifts to get the shiny shell. It's all so good, and it flows together so well. I also think the igloo is a neat little sub-area. Is there anything I don't like about this level? I guess having to wait behind this penguin to avoid getting blown away is kind of annoying. But aside from that, a truly fantastic level. You all knew this level was going to be up near the top. Bob-omb Battlefield may not be the most open, difficult, complex, or unique course in Super Mario 64, but what it does is have a wide open space for you to run around in, jump around in, kill enemies in, collect coins in, use power-ups in, play a Mario game in. The mountain is so fun to scale with all the ways you can speed the process up. The Chain Chomp is a genuinely menacing enemy with a neat star attached to him. The King Bob-omb boss fight, while incredibly easy, has so many neat details to it. Whenever you think of Mario 64, you think of this level. You think of fighting King Bob-omb. You think of racing Koopa the Quick. You think of flying through the air either with the wing cap or the cannons. You think of scavenging for red coins. You think of being terrified of the Chain Chomp. You think of this level. This is on the podium with Mangrove Cove and Boiler City as one of the best first levels in gaming. 1-1 from Super Mario Bros. May be an iconic first level, but in terms of quality, it will never compare to the absolutely phenomenal first level that is Bob-omb Battlefield. And yet, it's still not number 1. For as good as Bob-omb Battlefield is, I couldn't in good conscience put it at number 1. For everything that Bob-omb Battlefield does right, Whomp's Fortress does it better. This course has everything that makes Mario 64 amazing. Charming enemies, fun platforming, a fun boss, a fun 100 coin star, and a cool theme. The layout itself has several cool parts like the moving platforms, the thwomp on the stairs, the spinning bar, and the tower that appears after you defeat the boss. Speaking of the boss, King Womp is a great boss, since if you time your ground pound, you can phase right through him, and it's not hard to do either. The Womps and Piranha Plants are fun enemies, the cage gives you multiple ways to find it, the level has a ton of secrets, and it has the single best 100 coin star in the game. Womp's Fortress exemplifies why this game is amazing, and why it's still one of the best Mario games to this day. While time has passed, this game has still remained one of the champions of early 3D platforming. Even though I love Crash Bandicoot, it didn't really hit its peak until 3. Meanwhile, Super Mario 64 was the first big 3D platformer, and yet it's still one of the best. And that level that exemplifies that the most, for me, will always be Womp's Fortress. So that was the ranking. Here's my tier list. Overall, a fantastic game that has stood the test of time, and I think everybody should play it at least once in their life. My next ranking will also be on Mario 64, where I'll rank all the stars. Or maybe I'll rank the tracks in Mario Kart 64. There's a 50-50 shot of each. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you next happy hour.